Well, let's ask Ross then.
Okay. Chicken strip. Let's do it. Ross Stripling from the San Francisco Giants joining us right now. All right. Hop into the All-Star debate for
Yeah.
us, Ross. If you've
Yeah.
been catching some of this, give us your thoughts.
Well, I love what Kratz said. Let's get Lamont in there. I watch that guy walk out there every day and play, and he's been beat up the last month, and he's still going out there and rocking like a 9-something OPS, getting on base basically at the start of every game. I like the idea of an excitement. I think that's a cool mix, but this isn't the exciting game, the all-star excitement game. These are guys that have earned it. These are guys that have gone out and had an amazing first half, and it's really hard to do. Another one just that I see every day, Logan Webb takes the ball every fifth day. He might be leading the big leagues in innings and not an all-star, and now you're talking about letting a guy in there that's played, 25 really cool games. He's hit for the cycle, but he hasn't, logged the equity of a first half of a season that some of these other guys have.
Why do you guys not have more all-stars? San Francisco not big enough market? You guys don't have enough fans?
No, that's not it. I tell you what, man, we're disappointed for sure. We think we have 4 or 5 guys that deserve to be in the game. Camilo Duvall, our all-star, definitely deserves. I think he's leading the big leagues in saves, certainly in the National League. He's going to come in and throw 103 miles an hour. So if you're talking about excitement, there you go. And then, between like J.D. Davis, Tyro Estrada, Lamont Wade, and Logan Webb, we all thought those, 4 guys would sneak in there. Well, maybe at least half of them. And that's not the way it's shaken out so far. 1 or 2 of them might squeak in there. But, we thought they should have got awarded by merit alone, but that's not the way it works out. That goes to the point that we're talking about, man. It's really, really hard to make an all-star game.
Hey, let me go on this. All-star games, they are hard. I understand. I'm more of, if I'm like my first-time fan coming in there, now my first year watching the game right now, and I hear about this Elly De La Cruz. I hear about this guy coming and doing this. He's batting 308 right now. He's got a little over 100 at bats. I'm not saying Lamont deserves to be there, of course. But if I'm looking for I can't wait till this guy gets up. And the number one guy that comes up to me is Elly De La Cruz. No?
Man, I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're not right.
I love it.
I get it. He would be really cool to watch having a bat or two in the All-Star game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, in the minor leagues, before he got up here, we were hearing all about him. He's got the hardest throw from shortstop in all of baseball, big leagues and minor leagues. He's got the highest exit velocity in all of baseball, big leagues and minor leagues. And now he's coming to the big leagues and shown it. I'm certainly not saying – I think he's going to go make 10 All-Stars for the rest of his career, right? So I think it's coming for him. And the sky is the future couldn't be more bright for that guy. I just think there's people right now that would die to be in that game that have probably earned it slightly more than he has. And I guess that's the only point I'm trying to say.
No doubt.
But what if we had, and just think along with me, if we had a skills competition, okay? And they had everything for every big leaguer to be able to be at this skills competition that you could enter. What skills competition would you want them to create so that Ross Stripling could show up to Seattle and show his skills off at the MLB skills competition?
We should try and get the ball moving on this skills competition just to see the agents come out of the weeds and see how crazy they would go. Scott Boras would be hopping onto this. Somehow he'd be hacking into this chat saying, "What are you guys doing? Shut up." It's a good question. My greatest skill, how I don't know, what is it like, where you can shoot the wings off of a fly or whatever. Like if I have one skill, it's like my ability to hit locations with different pitches. So it's like, all right, Strip, I'm going to put a nail 60 feet, 6 inches away, and I want you to hit it with a curveball. I don't know. I could maybe do that. So that's cool. I'm not going to do anything sexy. I'm certainly not going to enter the sprint competition or the spin rate competition or the velo competition. But if you're talking about put nails in different parts of the strike zone, and you got to hit it one with a slider, one with a changeup, one with a curveball, one with a heater or whatever, I think I could compete in whatever the heck that kind of skills competition would look like.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do.
It's like a command contest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Hey, Ross, take me inside the clubhouse one more on All-Star when you're saying, hey, we feel like we've got 4 or 5 guys, whatever it is, that should be there. Do you guys get pissed like from the other day when they make those announcements? And I know there'll be some replacements over the next few days, but do you guys say something in the clubhouse like, Is there frustration? Does someone go up and talk to them like, dude, you deserve to be there? It's bullshit. Like, is it a common topic in the clubhouse this week?
Yeah, big time is, especially among the guys that know we're not going, and we're trying to talk about the guys that we think are going and should go. It's kind of like we all like to play GM in the dugout, like, hey, who are we calling up, and then that kind of stuff. This is similar, where there's a lot of downtime. We're always spitballing back and forth. So we were headed to the field. It was in New York, and we got a text from Kapler saying, 4:30 meeting in the locker room today. Automatically, we know that means we're hearing who the All-Stars are. So we just start talking about it, like, who do we think's in? And between the 20 of us that aren't even in the running, we were all saying that we thought Estrada, Camilo, and probably one of JD or Lamont, but definitely 3. We thought we had 3 of the 5 getting in between the guys that I've talked about so far. And we only got Camilo. And obviously we're pumped for Duvall. We're all going up and high five him. Kapler gives a great speech. Camilo gives a great speech. Very exciting for him. And then 2 minutes later, we're all like, man, this is some BS. Like, we got 4 other guys that deserve to be there. We're in the hunt for a division. We're a good team. We're kind of a fun team that people necessarily didn't think we'd be 10 games over 500, but we are. And we got some guys that should be rewarded from getting us there. And it just didn't happen. So, yeah, we're definitely all kind of talking behind the scenes saying this is some BS. And going up to those guys, if you have a good relationship with them, which most of us do, of just saying, like, man, you earned it. I'm sorry. Hope you find a way to sneak in there.
Hey, I'm Rossi. Do you mind if I call you Rossi? It just seems natural because I feel like I've known you for years now.
You and my mom. Yeah, you and my mom.
All right. Well, I feel proud of Rossi. So you have 6 years, 115 days in the big leagues. Take me back to that first time you got drafted, take me back when you were younger. Could you have pictured anything like this playing over 6 years, going on 7 years in the big leagues? Like, I know our dreams are to play, but that's a lot of years, man. People, you don't take that for granted.
Man, great question. My story's kind of crazy. I didn't make varsity until I was a senior in high school, and I didn't pitch competitively until that year, until I was 18 years old. So pitching I've kind of had to fall in love with it as I've gone. And I walked on at Texas A&M. I wasn't very good. I threw like 8 innings as a freshman and then I was a senior sign. So the idea of the big leagues was very foreign to me. I didn't have a lot of like friends that were in the minor leagues. I didn't know anything about it. And all of a sudden I'm in Ogden, Utah playing rookie ball, living by myself, homesick, trying to make friends. Most of that team was Latin. I didn't speak the language. I'm like, where am I right now? This is wild. And you really got to love it. And you really got to set some goals and know what your dreams are and to grind through the minor leagues. And man, the quick way to answer your question is no. I really didn't think I'd get here. Where I was always confident was I saw some guys make it to the big leagues or at least the higher levels of the minor leagues. And I could be like, okay, I can do what those guys do. I can change speeds. I can change locations. I can really command the baseball. But I didn't do anything super sexy. Like I've already said, we're talking about skills competition. So, but I knew I had a chance. So I just kind of kept plugging away, grinding through a Tommy John surgery while in the minor leagues. And now, man, like you said, 7 years later, went through arbitration into free agency, been on 3 amazing teams, had my family while I'm in baseball, 2 young kids. So what it's given me, the friendships and the memories, I can't imagine being anywhere else. But when I think of the 10 years that I've played professionally and what I've been through and what I've gotten here and how I've earned it, very, very proud, but also know I'm very, very lucky and just couldn't be more excited to be where I am, man.
We got the draft coming up this weekend too, and I know you'll be watching our draft special, which we'll get into more throughout the week. What do you remember from draft day? And were there conversations going back and forth with the scouts, with the money, the whole deal? Because I know you were picked, 2011, and then picked and signed in 2012 in the 5th round.
Yeah, so kind of what I just touched on. My junior year, I didn't know anything about it. And I am playing in a regional game. I pitched against like Seton Hall in a regional game, and I come in and I had gotten drafted in the 9th round. Didn't have an advisor, didn't know anything about it, got drafted in the 9th round, hadn't talked to scouts. Honestly, I look back and like just how naive I was. That's the wackiest thing. I didn't even have a clue, got drafted. Don't sign, go back to school, get my degree. And then this next year I have an advisor. I'm more prepared for what's in front of me. And I get drafted by the Dodgers in the 5th round. But that was the first year of the new rules. So I was getting a ton of calls, where the top 10 rounds are slotted. So I don't think scouts or teams really knew exactly how it was going to work. So I was getting calls in like the second, third round saying like, Strip, will you sign for like 10 grand so we can, save this money to use it on our 9th rounder? And I was like, I mean, I guess I don't really want to, but yeah, of course I'm going to go play. And I got maybe 7 or 8 calls like that never came to fruition. And now I'm just like sitting around because I thought I was going to get drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round as like kind of this save money kind of guy for these teams. That didn't happen. So then now I'm like, oh man, I have no idea when I'm going to get picked. Not a clue. And how you just listen to that thing that just says, Los Angeles Dodgers select right-handed pitcher, Ross Stripling out of Texas A&M. And we just like my whole family would just go crazy. Like, cause it was that out of the blue. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never talked to a Dodger scout, and all of a sudden I'm a Dodger, and 2 days later I'm shipped out to Utah. I mean, it happens that fast, but it's also very exciting. And, yeah, it's crazy. So with these kids coming up in the next couple of days that are going to get drafted, man, it's such awesome memories. And then you enjoy it for like 2 days, and then you're off playing somewhere crazy, eating at Cracker Barrel and Applebee's.
So you didn't even know as a junior you were going to get drafted, but then you went and didn't sign. Take us through not signing. Is it because you were naive? Because you were like, I want to get this degree, so this is what matters to me, or it wasn't enough money?
It was a mixture of all those things. I'm a 3rd-generation Aggie. For anyone that knows anything about Texas A&M, I bleed maroon. My grandfather was a yell leader, those goofy people that wear all white and do our cheers on the sideline. My grandfather was one of those. My dad's an Aggie. My brother was already at A&M. I wanted my degree from A&M. That's the reason I walked on there. I had chances to play at other schools, and I was like, no, I'm going to go be an Aggie. So I got drafted in the 9th round by the Rockies. The scout comes to my house and he's like, all right, this is great. We're going to sign you. We're going to send you straight to low A. We see you moving quickly. We think, you're going to be great for it. And I would have to be like, whoa, man. Like I'm not signing. And he was like, he was mad at me. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm going to go back to school. And it blew his mind. I was the only 9th rounder that didn't sign out of that draft. And then, so it was a mixture of things. That 2011 A&M team went to the College World Series. Those are some of my best friends. I wanted to go back and make another run at that. And then I only needed like 12 hours to get my degree in finance, which you guys, phrase, I'm passionate about. We'll talk. And
Yes.
then it just didn't feel right. It wasn't life-changing money. It was the 9th round, and it didn't feel like the right opportunity. It felt like that was maybe going to be there a calendar year later, which it was. And looking back, I don't regret it at all.
Did you just tell us that your grandfather was a cheerleader?
Essentially, yeah. It's A&M royalty. They're called yell leaders. Anyone listening, please YouTube them. They're goofy as hell, but they're very specific to Texas A&M, and there's only 5 of them a year. They get voted on by the whole student body. So it's a big deal, but yeah, essentially that's what I told you.
Can you give us a little yell? Or like how does it go? I'm kind of curious.
Oh man, there's a bunch of them. It's like, hey, gig 'em, Aggies, hey, whoop, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
There's a bunch of different versions. Yeah, that's the most basic one I could get.
Next time we have a break.
That's good.
Scott, next time we have a break, we're going to break. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
You do it.
I'll do it next time.
If I do it, I'll get smashed. Everyone loves you.
That was solid.
Hey, Ross, let me take you to your former ball club, Toronto, because you played with Alek Manoah. He's gone through some shit this year, right? Wasn't as good as he was last year. They send him down, work on things, couple rehab outings, and now we find out today, being called back up. He's going to start on Friday. So can you give us some insight on what he was like and what you've seen from that story, what you expect from him? Because, I mean, there's a few issues, but the primary one is the slider's not the same. And so that's kind of messing up the rest of his stuff, and he just couldn't get it together. So what do you think?
So he's one of my favorite people I've ever been around, baseball, not baseball, whatever. He comes from a tough background in Miami. Hard family dynamic growing up, but he could not have a better heart and just be a better teammate and be more of a competitor, really. Yes, he is like the classic young guy that comes in and just has no rules. He's not going to believe in whatever you're trying to tell him. He was a big leaguer from the start, and he doesn't need you to tell him otherwise. And he proved that for two and a half seasons, whatever it was, finished 2nd or 3rd in the Cy Young last year. I really do love Alek Manoah, so watching him struggle was tough for me. And how I knew he was really battling is I was battling too. And I texted him. I was like, "Hey, Manoah, I'm going to sacrifice a goat to the baseball gods. If you want to join me, let me know." And he sent back something very matter of fact, like, "Ha, good one," or something like that, you know. And I was like, "Oh no, like he's in a bad spot," because normally he would have FaceTimed me or sent something ridiculous back, laughing. And that's when I knew, like, you know, he's really going through it. As we all know, this game beats you down. You can be at the very top of the mountain and the next day be at the very bottom. And he's kind of first, you know, very good example of that now that we've seen. And I'm glad to hear he's back. I hope that's not too fast. You know, just 10 days ago, we all saw the line that he gave up 11 runs in like a Florida League game. But then I know he had a good one in Double-A. What I'll say is when he holds the ball, it looks like a ping pong ball. He's so big. You know, if you think about like Shaq shooting free throws, like I've always thought, like, how does he throw a baseball? It's literally like us trying to throw a golf ball. But he's such a competitor, man. I would never doubt him. And even when you are struggling mentally and physically, there's guys like Clayton Kershaw, like Alek Manoah, Max Scherzer, that when you put them between the lines, you're just not going to bet against them because they just go to another level competitively. He's got that in him. So I certainly think brighter things are ahead than what we've seen this year for him. But, you know, it's tough to get thrown back in the fire like that. I obviously really hope it goes well for him.
You touched on it a little bit. You said 10 days ago we saw that outing. Is two outings not enough, or can you find, you know, I'm not saying you know what he's struggling with, but you can feel that he was struggling. Can you figure that out in 2 outings, or is that really tough to figure something out in 2 outings in the minor leagues?
Great question. It very much depends on what it is. You know, I was battling some stuff this year and kind of tweaked my back, and then I got basically a month of rehab outings to kind of get my stuff right. And I found it. You know, I would say after 2 outings, I felt ready to go. But I also have a couple 100 big league innings under my belt, and I kind of know when I'm right. At the end of the day, Manoah's been a professional baseball player for like 3 years, and 2.5 of them have been in the big leagues. You know, so his ability to figure stuff out is probably not totally under his belt yet. And he needs coaching and reps and all that to get back to where he feels normal. I will say no. You know, at the most basic level, I would say that's not enough time. But I also very much hope that he did figure it out. And kind of what I just touched on, I think confidence is a big thing for him. And that if he feels remotely like himself and like his stuff is going to go where he wants it to, and then you put him under the lights competing against big league hitters, I think he's going to succeed because he has that kind of he has that dog in him, as the kids like to say. So I just think, you know, I hope he's figured it out, to answer your question, but it is quick.
Ross, what do the Giants need at the trade deadline? What you said you play GM in the dugout, you play manager in the dugout. So what's the move?
Gosh, great question. You know, I feel like this roster can compete with anyone, and we've showed it. I think we were the best team in baseball for like a 4 or 5 week span after starting 7-16 or whatever it was. So we've proven that when we're healthy, we can hang with anybody. We haven't been healthy. Like, really, we haven't ran our lineup out there more than like 3 games at a time. Tyro Estrada just got hit by a pitch, broke his hand. He's going to be out till, you know, significantly after the All-Star break, I think. It's like, gosh, one blow after another. I don't know if we you know, we go out and we bring 7 starters into spring training, starting pitchers, and I don't know if we've been healthy besides for the first week. So we're just battling injuries. You can always take more talent, though, man. You know, you're seeing guys like Bieber and Stroman that might be on the market. I think obviously we're going to be in the hunt for them. And then any kind of back end relievers, even though I feel like our bullpen is solid. Anytime you can add velo or strikeout stuff to a bullpen, you're going to try and do it. And then as a lineup, you know, I would love to see what's maybe on Farhan's mind, but anytime you can add pop or speed or anything, you'll take that as well. So it's just like we're a really well like rounded roster, right? But you can always get better. So I think really to answer your question, you can strengthen us in any way, shape, or form, and we'd obviously take it and move forward with it.
That was such a vanilla answer.
Is that the broadest answer you could have? Yeah,
that was such a vanilla answer. And I know Farhan is going to ask you, because I played for Farhan in his first year or second year, something like that with the Giants. He's going to come and ask you. You've been on so many teams. He's going to come and ask you what you think about this guy. Which one of your ex-teammates do you feel like would fit and is available on your team?
Gosh, great question. Well, the beauty of my career is I've only played for really great teams. So if you're talking about Dodgers and Blue Jays, I don't think they're two teams that are going to be selling at the deadline. So I can't exactly go pick any guy. You know, if you can give me Kershaw at the deadline, I'll take him. I think he'll fit in well on the Giants. He looked good in the black and orange. You know, but man, to think about ex-teammates, I'm sure there's really, you know, like what's Boston doing with like, I don't know, Kike or Justin Turner or Kenley Jansen or Verdugo. Like, give me Verdugo, man. We'll plug him in there in the 2-hole. He'll hit 300 with a couple pumps and make any team better that he's on. So yeah, how about off the top of my head? Yeah, well, I didn't play with Scherzer.
Oh, you didn't play with him. Oh, but you did get a phone call.
Wah, wah. That's right.
He did get a phone call. Maybe it was Farhan asking him who he should trade.
He heard him just now, and he said, "You know what? Keep your mouth quiet. We're not going over anything."
We're not.
Hear me?
He's back. Boom. Was it a phone call?
Sorry, I got a phone call, man. Yeah. How do I?
Was it Farhan?
I usually do this on my. Yeah, it was crazy. It was Farhan asking me if he thinks Clayton's available.
So I was watching Foul Territory, but no, sorry, we caught you at Scherzer, I think, right?
I thought you played with Scherzer, so that's why I said Scherzer.
Yeah, no, I was gone by the time he made it.
You
to
missed
LA.
him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last question for me. All I'm going to say is thumbs up or thumbs down. Has money been going up for you or down for you? That's what I need to know. There we go.
We're always moving up, Frage. Always moving up.
All right, so
Market's healthy-ish.
you know, you remember you yell at me because I don't want to ask the wrong question. So.
No, that's all. Well, you can say market. I could be
this feels a little bit like an
supermarket.
uncorrected. This feels like a uncorrected move upwards that we might be in for some pain here soon. You know, basically, if someone comes out and says it's hard to monetize artificial intelligence, we're going to be in for some pain.
That AI is real deal, man.
Yeah, it is real. Wait,
Yeah.
Also, I got a correction here from the staff behind the scenes. You actually did play with Max Scherzer. Do you remember?
Bad
Is
teammate.
it an all-star game?
Yeah. That counts.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That lived up to the hype in every way. I'm sorry if I got to go, but I got to tell this quick story.
No,
Seager was an all-star. So Scherzer was starting that game, and Scherzer's pre-pitch routine is the most incredible thing, and I won't get into all of it, but essentially Seager was like, you got to try and give him a high five because he will not high five people before he pitches, even in an all-star game. And I was like, well, how'd you find that out? And he's like, well, I tried it the hard way. And I was like, all right, I got to do it. So Scherzer goes through this crazy pre-pitch routine where he like lays his jersey out. He goes crazy to heavy metal music, and he's like getting into his Scherzer craziness. And he goes and he warms up, and I'm headed out to the bullpen while he's coming back to the dugout to start the game. And I'm like 20 feet away and already have my hand up, just a big smile, just like this, just waiting for him. And he just walks right by me and he goes, don't dab me before the game. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yes. So that's exactly what I wanted. So that lived up to the hype in every way.
That is awesome. Kratz, that's got you written all over it. That is definitely something you would have done, no?
Yeah.
I would 100% have stolen his hand and slapped myself in the face with it. Like, come on, bro. You can give somebody a high five. Do you feel like you would have been better if you would be more Scherzer in your starts? Do you think that's something that you need? No, exactly.
No, it'd be fake. It'd be fake for me. Like from guys like him and Kershaw, it's real, man. They have to go to these dark places to compete the way that they compete. I mean, they've been so good for so long. If they give up 2 runs, that's a fail, you know, in their book and in their fans' eyes and their fan base's eyes. Versus me, if I give up 2, I'm going to the bars after and celebrating with anyone that wants to come. So it's just like different. Completely different where they have to go competitively versus me. It'd be, if I did that, it'd just be fake. It'd look stupid. Everyone would realize I'm just being weird.
That's funny.
I like it. Hey, Ross, that was worth the extra minute there on the story, dude. Appreciate you as always. Keep doing your thing with San Francisco. Keep the winning up for the boys, all right?
All right. Appreciate it, guys. See y'all next time.
Thank you. See you next time, Strip.